String Tavern, episode 71. Here with Doug Richardson, David Guy, lead singer and guitarist and bass player of Ohio Valley's #1 pop punk band, Splash Panel. What's up, dudes?
What's up, man?
Thanks for coming in again. David, thanks for being here for the first time. David, I go back probably since like elementary school bus on the way home.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure we went to church together at some point. So we go way back.
So how was that the arena gig?
Dude, the arena gig was awesome. That was like...
Was it a bucket list moment?
It was.
Nice.
Like, you get to play a halftime show at West Bank Arena. Yes. Like,
Yeah.
I don't care what the event is. Absolutely, yes. Like, thank you, Wheeling Miners, for letting us do that. That was awesome. That was...
And you got to be in a mask for it. It was the Halloween event,
Yeah,
so now you get to go in
yeah,
character.
so I could get in costume and do all that stuff. It was awesome. I get it. The preparation, because the last time we did something at West Bank Arena didn't go so smooth. So like the nerves for me was like at 11. I was like, dude, I was like no mute buttons.
Yeah.
Like,
And I bet you just being on the field like that, like 5 yards is nothing. Like when you're moving around stuff with like your guitar, like you're in the moment performing.
yeah.
That's awesome. And then you said that was Brad's second.
Yeah,
the second show with you guys.
The first show with Brad, we sold out Waterfront Hall. So far, we've like sold out Waterfront Hall for 2000's night. We did a halftime show, and so like I'm still trying to figure out how I'm gonna top like those two things.
Yeah,
like, you know what I mean? Because you can't just go back now. I'm like, you gotta keep going.
Right. And it's nice to see Brad in his genre. This is his forte. Like this is your guys' forte, and finally, like, you know, I think Brad and I got like our start at the exact same time. Him with Zane Run, me with Matt Van Fossen, and you could always tell, like, you know what music he wanted to play.
Yeah, right.
Like he has that guitar from
Tom DeLonge.
Tom DeLonge's guitar.
Multiple.
Yeah, yes, and you just thinking like that guy. The only thing you heard from him was like, you know, their Bonnie and Clyde song and like all the like the top like country hits at that time. Now seeing him getting into it, it's nice.
It's cool because so what I do when I make like a set list that we're gonna play, I put it on Spotify, so I can listen to it in the car, and I'm like, okay, this song after this song doesn't sound good, like move it around, and I'll like perfect the set list. And so I have all like when I started singing in Zane Run set list, I'm like, oh my god, this band was horrible. Like the stuff we were playing was like that 90s, like that was not me at all. And then, so then like I do the same thing with Splash Panel, and I'll send it over, and it's cool because like I'll send it to like Dave and everybody, which you need to get Spotify. Yeah. This is actually we invited you over here to tell you that Pandora is not a thing anymore. Yeah.
Oh, you're just rocking with Pandora.
I've been with Pandora since 2014.
Yeah, it's time to update, get Spotify. But we do that. We'll send the set list back and forth, and we'll like tweak it. And then I gotta give a shout out to Devontae. He doesn't want to do a podcast, which I get, but
Devontae, this is so easy. We don't bite.
Devontae's a nervous talker too. So
okay.
Like, you are, dude. Let's be fair. But I'll send him like songs. I'm like, all right, so you're DJing. How would you set these songs up in order? So it's kind of cool to have that in the back pocket.
And is Brad lending a lot of his technical abilities to the band? Because I know, like in Zane Run, he was making like the tracks, and
it's the same thing. So what I liked is because of right now it's cool because Splash Panel is literally a mix of everybody that I've had a musical relationship with in the past 10 years now on stage together. So Dave is learning how to make tracks. He kind of has the track thing down, but where it takes Dave a week to make a track, it'll take Brad a day. So I'm like, Dave, let's focus on doing this. Brad, you make the track, come to practice, everything's together.
And it isn't really like when you're making these tracks like an issue of like the music. It's more of an issue of like just like when I first started like editing these podcasts. It's just like the shortcuts and all the buttons you figure out that make the time just, you know, you just keep taking chunks and chunks and chunks out. So I know, like, when I was editing this podcast at first, you know, I'd be like, oh, Apple symbol plus B is split, so I can do this with it. You know what I mean? It just takes so much more time out when you start learning all the little shortcuts and little things.
Dave and I were talking earlier about, like, the negative comments about, like, tracks. and stuff like that.
Oh, there's a ton of them.
Oh, I've given my fair share. I'm a very like musician purist.
Yeah,
but
right.
but like recently, now like talking to you guys, like I understand like the science behind it,
Oh
whereas
yeah.
I did
Well,
before.
with the tracks, I mean, when we have our backing tracks there, we don't have a lot of like guitar, or bass, or drums. We have none of that in our tracks because
Yeah.
we're up there playing that ourselves. But we can't play keyboard on piano. We can't add synth. I can't
Yeah.
physically do that on the bass or on
Yeah.
the guitar. So
I mean, as full as you guys sound with 3 pieces already, I mean, yeah, I mean, how can you add more without adding another guy? That's now. Do you guys all play with like the same setup track? Do you have like something like does one guy play with like just clicks and one guy play with more? Or in your in ears, is it all the same?
The mix is different.
Okay,
So
yeah.
everybody likes their instrument kind of ahead of the rest, so you see where you're at. But it's we do all get everything. So everyone gets the click, everyone gets some of the track, and then whatever's being played.
Yeah.
It's just what amount that you like of each. Like I like having more guitar in my vocal and the click. If those 3 things are on,
Yeah.
then as long as everyone else is playing to those on time with the click and everything,
Yeah.
then it's going to sound great.
Yeah.
It also adds, if you tell me Splash Panel gets a 3-hour set, then I can program our set to be 3 hours. I'm not looking at a clock.
Yeah.
A big thing with me has always been like crowd interaction. So like it sucks when you watch a band and the singer's like looking at the wall and he's like,
Yeah.
how much more time do you
Yeah,
have?"
yeah, yeah.
So,
Or like turning around to his band and go, what do we do? We have 3 more songs left.
Yeah,
and now the
yeah,
band's like
exactly.
scrambling around looking at their set list. What can we like repeat? And, yeah.
we don't have to do that. As far as like the purist thing goes, it is nice to like be able to like just play like when we do the 3-piece thing, we don't play with tracks. We'll just do that as like a purist thing. But to me, I feel like we rip people off if we're not putting on the best show we possibly can. So like I want to be like worth the price of admission.
Right. What was the question I was going to say? I'll edit this brain fart out.
You should keep the brain fart in.
yeah, keep it in.
I have too many and they're
While
too.
thinking.
I have too many and they're too long.
10-string tavern, all brain farts, all the time.
So, I was going to say like when I played like when you're doing monitor mixes, I always preferred none of my guitar in there because I always use I always use my Fender amp and I would use that as my monitor behind me. But I always liked just the whole band in there. But like a lot of like bass players and drums, I'll always hear like a drummer go, I just want bass, singer, nothing else. That's usually like the drummer and bass player that they just don't want anything. They're grooving together.
Yep.
But it's funny because they don't care about the violin. They don't care about like the piano player in the band. They just want to focus on where they are in the song and what the groove is.
Yeah, actually, in my in-ear mix that I have, not any of the tracks that are being played, they're all out. So in my mix, I have Devontae, the drums. I have them in my ear a good bit. Have some guitar in there. My bass is coming through, and Doug's vocals and my vocals. Everything else is pretty well out of it.
Well, and like with the track thing too, it's like you guys aren't jamming. Like you're playing these hits, these pop punk hits that people know by heart, but beat by beat by beat. There's no real reason to look at each other and be like, all right, let's jam in this A for like 10 minutes or something. No, they want to hear that song that they love to then the next one, the next one.
So being in Splash Panel, I have the final say in like what basically like Dave will be like, well, when Dad decides, like, I mean, that's you, right? Yeah, when Dad gets here, but I get the final say. And a big thing for me is like, I don't like a lot of guitar solos because people can't sing along to guitar solos. Right?
Yeah,
you get what I mean?
yeah.
Right?
It's a funny way of putting it.
Yeah, but you can't sing to a guitar solo.
Right.
And a lot of the stuff we play, like people aren't dancing to that either. So,
Right,
like,
yeah.
When we play Jimmy Eat World, huge song, we'll play that song every set we play.
Mm-hmm.
When the guitar solo comes up, if you look at the crowd, everyone just like, okay, when's this chorus come back in? They're like waiting for it.
Yeah.
So I try to limit the jam band kind of stuff
Right.
for our sets because if you're not singing and you're not moving, what's the point?
Right. And it fits that genre that you're playing. That's a genre that like say if like you're seeing Ozzy with Zach Wilde, like that type of crowd just like, hold on, he stopped singing, here comes a solo. You know what I mean? It's like a flip flop between like
it absolutely is. And that's what like me and him were texting one day and he's like, Doug, you always put the party first. I always put the music first. And I was like, you are absolutely right.
Yeah.
And the thing is like when I'm up there on stage, I want to see people having a blast. I want to see people coming back for more. And when he's up on stage, he also realizes that, and he's also in that same wheelhouse. But like the build up to that is like we put a lot of effort in making sure we hit every note right. And then by the time the gig comes, we screw it up anyway. So it's like it's just like let's just have a good time.
Yeah.
Let's.
I mean, it's hard for like musicians like us because you watch all these like concert DVDs and all this stuff growing up, and you see like these like what you think are like these perfect players, but finding out like all these concerts you're watching, it's overdubbed, post filming, so they're doing that solo perfectly over that live track and stuff, and you're thinking like, oh, I can't make mistakes when I'm up on stage, and that's not the case.
Yeah,
that's
it's
not the
not
case
reality
whatsoever.
at
It's
all.
not fun. It's not
You're
fun.
not
Yeah.
messing up on stage. You're not playing.
Yeah.
So too, if you're gonna play it perfectly, like why go to a live show? Just listen to the album at home. You know what I mean? Like, if you're
Right.
gonna,
Yeah.
Like one for one.
That's part of the reason why I actually prefer listening to live music, is because it does have that flaw, that rawness in it, and
Yeah.
it's more relatable.
And like a lot of people, they listen to the songs, especially in the metal community. They always get on like, oh, when you're playing the song, you didn't do it note for note. It's like the guitarist for the band doesn't play it note for note every time. It's like he played that note for note on that one recording, but if you watch them live, all their solos are different. They're always freestyling. And to think like, say, if you play like Crazy Train on stage and people are like, you didn't hit all the notes right. I'm like, yeah, of course I did. I'm not like the guy who wrote it.
I told him one time, I said, listen, if anybody comes up to you and says anything like what you just said, you didn't play it note for note,
Right,
this was
yeah.
wrong, they're not the crowd we're trying to play for.
Yeah.
I want people who want to come out, have a good time.
Yeah.
Like, if you want to critique us, like on any recordings we do, by all means, you have every opinion to do that. But like, nobody plays every show the same.
No, nobody does.
It's just because if you did, you might as well put it in the track.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Yep.
So it just does not make sense.
Hello, everybody. This is Eric Richards with the Road to Riches podcast. Please tune in every week. Subscribe to the channel for everything real estate and creative financing, as well as new ways to learn from titans of industry. If you are looking to change your life and be better, this is the podcast for you. Road to Riches podcast. Thank you.
So, what's your guys' biggest stage mix up, accidents, mess ups? Like when you're like looking back on your music career, like what is that one gig where like everything fell apart? I'll share mine and
Where everything fell apart.
everything. For me,
Ooh.
I was we were playing the Stern Wheel Festival. It used to be at the water. You ever go down there? They had the big stern wheel ships come down, and we played on that Waterfront Wednesday stage. And this was middle of summer, where the bugs just hit the river as soon as those stage lights comes on. So before backstage, I realized, shit, I forgot my belt. So now I don't have my belt. My pants are falling down. So what I did was I took a metal coat hanger that I had my show shirt on, and I wrapped it a bunch of times in my belt loop. And then I go on stage, and I'm starting getting eaten up by bugs. And this lady in the front row is like waving me down. She has a can off, and she's like, I'll spray you. So I hand my guitar off to either Matt or my bass player. I go up. She sprays down my arms. She's like, let me get your face. So I lean forward. I close my eyes. And like I swear 20 seconds go by. I don't feel anything. And as soon as I open my eyes to see what's going on, it was just a straight shot of like basically mace. And when I recoiled, the sharp end of that metal coat hanger stabbed me. So I was blind, stabbed, and like my drummer didn't realize what was going on, and I just heard a 4 count. And I'm like, oh, here we go. Like right into like, Country Girl Shake Over Me or something like that. That had to have been like probably the worst accident
Dude,
on stage.
I think the worst one, I think the worst, I don't even call it an accident, but we played New Year's Eve at the Silver Rail Bar and Grill, which I love those guys. They've always been good to us. We play, and we're having trouble with the X-Air that they had.
Uh-huh.
And the entire mix was bass and drums, no guitar. It was weird. It was like the setup was just off that night. And trying to get into that show was kind of like iffy. But as far as, I don't know, Jake, we're professionals. We don't mess up. That's
yeah?
a you problem. Dude, my first non-splash panel story.
That is a me problem though. Like getting stabbed with your own
Like,
like
how do you-
coat hanger and stuff like that. That's not really.
That's like that's a 1 in a million. Like,
Yeah, that's only something I could.
there's no musician on this planet with that same story.
No.
I don't know.
The worst thing I've ever seen on stage ever was we had a show at Wheeling Park, and the bass player at the time jumped off the stage, and then when he went to jump back on the stage, he didn't make it, and he face planted in front of everybody. But like as far as me, stuff like happening with me, I've never had anything. I mean, I've had mic batteries die,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
that kind of stuff, but like nothing too crazy.
No,
Although-
like no injuries, no on stage injuries. No,
No.
that's nice. Knock
No.
on some sort of wood.
Yeah. I don't-
Yeah.
yeah, knock on wood there. I don't think I've ever had any actual on-stage injury. But I remember a long time ago, actually, when Doug and I first met, I played in this band. We were called Another Burning Hillside.
Okay.
And I got this cool idea. I want to make a bunch of my own stage lights. So I go to Lowe's, and I'm buying like these little Christmas tree light switches. I put them in
Yeah.
this little box on stage. So I'm working the lights on stage. I'm working my pedal board over here. I have a mic and I have a guitar. So I'm kind of stuck in this one
Yeah.
spot. And everything went pretty good with all that. But the bar that we set it up at, I left everything plugged in. Well, the next morning the owner came in to open it up, and he said that foot switch that I had all those lights plugged into,
Yeah.
they ran all night. He said he walked in and it was just smoking. So I almost indirectly caught a bar on fire a couple years back.
He had these two boxes that were just like nothing but floodlights, and he would turn them on. So the bar's dark, and he turns this on, and like you're like, so when he turns them back off, your lights have to readjust.
Yeah,
and
yeah,
like,
yeah.
And the band slowly fades into focus. I was like, dude, that's like a little much. Like, it is,
Yeah, it was 16 floodlight bulbs pointing directly out to the crowd. Now, when you had fog going on and those lights were on, all you saw was a silhouette of us on stage,
Yeah.
so it looked really cool. But if you were in the crowd, I felt bad for
at
you.
this point, though, the bar was the size of like somebody's basement, so it wasn't like a big. Like,
Yeah.
This wasn't like a Generations of River City.
Right,
I was
right.
just, oh my god, it was just.
Yeah, and then the smoke won't dissipate for a while.
Yeah, it was interesting for sure.
Boston lit me up one time with one of his upshoot smokers, and I don't know why. I think I was wearing shorts during. It had to have been sound check because I don't wear shorts when I play, but it was up in Cleveland, and I was stepping over it, and he hit it, and it just went right up my shorts, and like when those smoke launchers go off, like they'll dissipate when there's open air, but like if you get the smoke in your shorts, or if like that smoke hits something physical, the smoke just stays. So like there was a picture of the whole stage, everything was clear except me. It was just like this 5 foot tall just silhouette of smoke pillar, just me standing there. Like my POV was nothing but smoke in front of me, and then just like the stern wheel, I hear a 4 count. Like as soon as it happens, then I have to we have to start.
Oh my god.
The funniest. But one of the funniest stories is when Boston got that tour bus. The first time we brought it out was at Atwood Lake up north a little bit of us, and it was basically like a July 4th picnic, but he parked it in the grass behind the stage, and it rained the night before. We get done with our show, and the back wheels were like 4 or 5 feet sunken in the ground, and the only breaker tow truck available to us was in Cincinnati that could pull it out. So we waited 4 hours. It was like an hour and a half to my house. We had to wait 4 hours for this thing to come pull us out and then drive back.
Dude, I shout out to Boston. Actually, I brought a song for you to listen to, but I called Doug Boston. I was like, "Hey man, I want to record this song. Can we use your snare from the Green Day?"
Okay. Yeah.
And he didn't even hesitate. He's like, "Absolutely."
Yeah, he would be like, "Yeah, shoot
Oh,
the
no,
video
he
of my
was
bar,
like-
shoot it."
Not only did he do that, he was like, we jumped in his van. Like we went up to the studio together. Dave couldn't make it that night, unfortunately. Like he had to go back and record his bass parts. But like it was like, how do you own a snare that Trey Cool played, and then you're just like, yeah, you 3 dumbasses. Just
there you go.
take it.
Yeah.
Just have fun.
And
Like,
he's never like, "Yeah, I'll come with my equipment." He's like, "Yeah, just take it. Just take it out of my house." I
He
have
doesn't
it.
even care. He's just like, yeah, let's do it. And what was cool too is like we're sitting there, we're recording the song, and he came in, he's hanging out with us, and he's like, I hear something. There's something off. There's something off. And then it was like, I can't remember what it was, but it was something Devontae was doing. So we made him change it, and then like change the song. Like it was like, all right, that's like the perfect set. But I have it here if you want to listen to it.
Yes. So this is the
Yeah.
newest song from Splash Panel.
It is. This song will be officially released later this year. So this is like an early debut of our song, definitely.
Early debut, definitely check this out.
Make sure we got volume.
And there's a story behind it that we're going to talk about after.
Absolutely.
A lot different from that first version. That live video that I watched.
Story we've all heard before. Just a guy thinking about a girl. Met her on an island, too drunk to think. Maybe I should just be charming. My game was at an all-time low. How I made her smile, I still don't know. Long story short, I watched her go. I wish she'd know. I don't believe in love.
Very nicely mixed.
Yeah. That's a story in itself.
Yes.
Twice. First round was the water with no ice. Something just felt right. Yeah, she's out of my league. Definitely worth the road trip across Ohio to Kentucky. But I know I'll never see her again.
Very personal lyrics.
It is. Yeah. I'm really just a hopeless romantic. Everyone just thinks I'm this partier. It's just like,
Whole ride home, what could I have done differently? I knew after the weekend that she'd be gone. Will she even remember me? Her smile stuck in my head, gives me that butterflies feeling. Was there something I could have said? I should just forget this whole thing. I don't believe in love at first sight, so I turned around and I looked twice. First round was water with no ice.
What is he hitting as like the ride?
The gimlet.
I have no idea.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
What the hell's a gimlet cheese? Out of my league. Definitely worth the road trip across Ohio to Kentucky, but
That's a long road trip.
never see her again. Unfortunately, that's where this ends. Yeah, she's
To be fair, I don't even know if she's actually from Kentucky.
This is very nicely produced. I really like this. This is nicely produced.
Ohio to Kentucky, but I know I'll never see her again. Unfortunately, that's where this
It's like he's hitting a tambourine or something as his ride. It's really cool.
ends. Out of my league. Definitely worth the road trip across Ohio to Kentucky, but I know I'll never see her again. Unfortunately, that's where this ends. Yeah, she's out of my league. Definitely.
That's awesome. That is very nice.
Oh, this song.
There's one difference I noticed between this version and that the live version was the Ohio to Kentucky line.
Yeah.
Devontae was hitting the fattest rolls during that line.
So this song is, we go to Put in Bay every year around my birthday.
Uh-huh.
So we're up there and we meet this group of girls, and there was like this one girl that was like, she walks in the bar and I was like, man, this girl's like hot. And then I see Devontae walk over to a group of friends, and I was like, they're gonna do green tea shots, because that's like Devontae's move.
Uh-huh.
Devontae sees a group of girls. I'm selling you out right now, yes, but he sees a group of girls, and he's like, "You guys want a shot? We could do like green tea. We could do white tea, like whatever. Like the thing is." So, long story short, there, I started talking to her. We hit it off. It was cool. I mean, just like normal conversation, but like I was like not over an ex at the time, so I was like, kind of like mind, you know.
Right.
So I was just like, whatever. So I kind of like brushed her off a little bit, and then Also on Put in Bay, like we start drinking at 10 a.m. So
Right,
there's
it's
like
Put in Bay. Yeah.
the only time you're sober is when you're sleeping. So it's kind of like the whole thing. So
Yeah.
like that's why like I was too drunk to think maybe I should just be charming. Like all the lyrics are like
That's what was going through your
yeah,
head
it's
at the
like
time.
this
Yeah.
guy's the whole thing. So I was like, man, I really need to like talk to this girl. And then I saw her like sporadically on the island the next couple days, and then like Saturday night I was like, I'm gonna go, I'm gonna find her, I'm actually gonna talk to her, and then I didn't see her. That's the one time I didn't see her.
Yeah.
So Devontae's making fun of me the entire time of this whole thing. I'm like, dude, I hate you, like whatever. So it's like, and like a random twist is one of the people in her friend group knows my brother and my sister-in-law.
Uh-huh.
So, and she's from like the valley. So like I like talked to her like sporadically, but I haven't like the girl I wrote this song about. I haven't seen or talked to since
Then.
that weekend. Because I don't be that guy. Like you know what I mean? Like you, yeah.
Right.
So,
And what's going to happen now when you do find her? You want to send her this song?
actually, I think Devontae did send her the song. So
Oh,
I think she
really?
knows. I think, but I don't know. I have no idea. I like whatever. So anyway, so Devontae's like giving me crap about this or whatever. So we're driving back. So like from Put in Bay back to the Ohio Valley, it's like a 4-hour drive.
Uh-huh.
So Devontae passes out in the passenger seat of the truck, and I was just like, you know, you start like playing scenarios in your head, like all that stuff, like things you wish you would have done. So then there's like the cheesy stuff that starts coming out. Like I'm like, I don't believe in love at first sight, so I turned around and looked twice. Like the stuff like
yeah.
Right, which is why that it's
Right.
also in that song. And I'm just like, so I'm like making this almost a parody song of like that weekend.
Yeah.
And then it got stuck in my head. And I was just like, I have to finish this. It's actually like a legitimate, like,
Yeah.
it's like a catchy song. So we get home. I wrote the whole song on that trip, both the verses and the choruses. And the next day, this is how I know if the song's good. If the next day I can remember 90% of the song, then I have to finish it. Like,
Yeah.
it's good. So I was able to do that. Wrote like 5 or 6 drafts. We're getting ready to record this song. And at this point, Dave's not even in the band. So I finished the song. In the meantime, Dave joins the band. And I'm like, hey, we're working on this song called Definitely. So I make Dave play this song 100 times. Because we were a 2-piece before, so I didn't have there wasn't a bass part really for the song. So Dave's writing this bass part. Every practice, I'm like, let's play Definitely again. Because every practice, we're trying to finalize this because I wanted to record this song. So we get the song recorded. We go to a studio. I get the mix back, and it's just not what I wanted. And I was like, man, this sucks. Like
Yeah.
And the thing is the guy I was working with was absolutely great, and if I would have known what to tell him to change, he would have done it.
Gotcha. Yeah.
I just didn't have that ear.
Yeah.
So so we put Definitely like on like the back burner for a minute, and then we come back to the song, and my friend Tyler Gray was like, I'll record it for you, you know. I sent him the mix. He goes, I think I know what you're talking about, like let me like put my spin on it. So Tyler makes this mix, and it's closer to what we want. Like it's just, you know, he gets it a little bit more. But I was like, it still isn't it. So Ofka, which was like the guy I recorded with in the past, I messaged him. I said, do you happen to have a studio?
Yeah.
And he's like, yeah, I do. And I was like,
No, this was an innovation, right? This is
it's not in Steubenville. He's down in Clarksburg.
Yeah.
That's what. So I was like, listen, I recorded this song. I sent him the first mix of the song. I sent the second mix of the song. He goes, I get what you're going for. I think I can make it better. And I was like, please do. So he put his, I don't even know. I think it's the drums. I think he's just so good at mixing drums that he just brings everything together.
Yeah.
So, poor Dave had to record the song the first time in the studio, then recorded it again as he was writing it for the live version that we have on like YouTube and stuff. So it was kind of funny, like just playing the song a billion times to get it down right. And then Ofka sent me that's the third version that he sent me after like a couple tweaks. And I was like, this is it. This is perfect.
Yeah, which bass line's being used there, Doug?
Oh, that was the first one.
The very first one I played.
I couldn't get the first one for the second recording, but anyway, that
So recorded about 100 times and end up using the very first take ever.
technically I think it was your second take, but whatever.
Wow.
We had the same exact thing with Matt's band. We went to a studio and we got it back. And we were just like, we wish we had a little bit more input.
Yeah.
He went to off go and it was just like, well, he kind of knew exactly what.
Dude, that's the thing. So, but I have this like because obviously I lived the song like
Yeah.
the whole thing, and I was like, so I have this vision of like what I want the music video to be. So I reached out to friends that are in that industry. They gave me a bunch of tips, and so now I have like this vision for this music video. So the girl that I said is like friends with my like, sister-in-law and everybody. I messaged her. I said, "Do you want to be in this video? You were there. I think you'd be hilarious." There's a line in the song that's like, "Second round was a gimlet. What the hell's a gimlet?"
Yeah, yeah.
And I was like, "Can you just be the bartender that serves us a gimlet? Like that's all I want you to do."
Yeah.
And she's like, "Absolutely, that'd be cool." So like I have that set up.
Did you ever find out it was in a gimlet?
Yeah, it's shit. You asked me too fast. It's gin. It's
Okay.
gin and lime cordial.
Okay.
It's all it
Okay.
is,
Yeah. Okay.
And what's even weirder is like, so after I was like looking into like gimlets, like apparently sailors are what came up with the gimlet
Oh, really?
because like something with the gin kept the limes longer on ships, like they wouldn't go bad.
And then
as
prevented
fast.
scurvy.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah,
okay. Okay.
Yeah. So makes you second guess like this girl that I met on this island was like drinking like a sailor technically.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
That's the thing, right?
I can't get down with gin. I
Um,
can't do gin.
But yeah, so I was like, so I have this like vision for this music video.
Yeah.
So I hit up Smiley Ann's photo van. She's got that 70 Volkswagen
Okay.
bus.
Yeah. Yep.
So she's actually, I booked her last year because I wanted the video done last year, and then all that stuff happened
Yeah.
with the mix. So she's been on my case. She's been like, when are we gonna do this? When are we gonna do this? So, Ann, it's happening. Chill. And then I was like, I want a yellow Telecaster for this like.
I saw your build one.
right?
Yeah.
So I started this. This is the dumbest thing ever I have ever done in my life. I want a yellow Telecaster, so I go to Guitar Center and I go, I'm looking for the butterscotch blonde Telecaster.
Mm-hmm.
The Fender that is $800 does not have the color I want. Like
Yeah.
it's not enough. So I asked the guy, I was like, why is that? And he goes, well, the finish is better on this one. And I said, well, where's the cheaper one at? Like, where's the cheaper finish at?
Yeah.
And he shows me like these other Fender guitars, and none of them have like what I'm looking. And it's a Squier guitar,
Squire.
a $200 guitar. That's like
Squires are nice.
yeah, and it's just like it's so I bought one online because the guy kind of annoyed me that I was dealing with, but
Uh-huh.
I bought a Squier online. I bought parts to like black the whole thing out. I put this all on Splash Panel's Facebook and Instagram.
Mm-hmm.
So you guys want to watch me build this guitar? Part 1 and part 2 are done. Part 3, I'm gonna need Dave's drill press to do. But yeah. So I'm building this guitar. So I meet a girl for 15 minutes, wrote a song, spent way more money than I should have recording this thing, and now I'm building a guitar for a video that I don't even know if she's ever heard the thing. So it's just kind of like crazy to like think about.
Is you want to go just down this hole where like 10 years of your 10 years down the line, you're like, you see what I did this? I did this all for you. As soon as you get
No. It was just so stupid that it was like, and I will say this too, it was like the first like really catchy song that I put effort into in a while. Cause like we have songs that like, I've had songs called like horse people, making fun of like people that shoot horses in 4-H and stuff. So like this is
What, you going after people in 4-H?
oh
They
yeah.
said-
So there's the story behind that song. You know what? When we record that song, I'll come back and tell the story behind that.
I was in 4-H. I wasn't a horse dude. What's funny about horse people is anybody that owns a horse farm will tell you that they're the best horse farmer in the world. I've never seen a horse farmer say like, I don't know all the answers.
Dude, it's just that's the thing too with me is like I can write a song about anything. Like before we started talking about that, before we start rolling camera, I should say, we were talking about the song I wrote about a stripper.
Yeah.
Like, there's just like, and I worked at the strip club that this song was written about. So like, I don't want to sit there and be like, I fell in love with a stripper. Like,
Right.
You know, I'm not
right. On the
T-Pain.
bachelor party.
But yeah, but like, actually, she was like, "It's my birthday's coming up. Can you write me a song?" And I was like, "Yeah, I could probably do that." And like, I sat there.
Yeah.
So it was just like a cool like experience.
The best music, and I think the most iconic music, the ones that do the most success, is like stories from your life or like experience that you had. And the same way it goes like stand up comedy. The best jokes and like the people, like everybody will tell you in the stand up comedy world, it's just like if you can tell stories that actually happen to you from your own observations, that's what sticks. That's what people want. And like the same case for you guys, like you're writing songs that actually happen. It means something to you. The words have weight, and it's not like when you're driving home from that trip, you know, it's harder to just like let go of these lyrics because they actually happen. They actually have the weight on you.
It is. I've always said that too. Like when I write, like I'm like, I tell people, write what you know. Like, don't try to overcomplicate it.
Yeah.
Just because 2 words rhyme doesn't mean there's the right 2 words.
Right.
You know, that kind of stuff. But it is kind of cool to like see like the progression of this. We have another song coming out called Punk Rock Kid. We're getting Dave's kids, my nieces and nephews involved with that. We're doing it's like a music video, but it's like kind of like a parody of the Beastie Boys Fight for Right to Party video.
Okay,
but with,
yeah.
like little kids.
Okay,
like, a house
that's
by
awesome.
themselves.
Yeah.
So like, you know, and that song I wrote based off of, we got done with a gig one time and this woman walks up to me and goes, "I really like your sound. You guys remind me of like old school Blink 182."
Mm-hmm.
And so like there's a lyric in the song about that. Like it's just like one interaction I can kind of like shape a song about. The chorus of the song was about an ex-girlfriend who was getting her hair done. And she goes, "Yeah, I met this new guy. He's kind of a punk rocker. I don't know if it's going to work out or not." Like, I get that. Like,
Fair.
Fair. It's, you know, whatever. But like, you know, she makes that comment to her hairdresser, and then she was like jokingly telling me about it. And then we had split up. I mean, this was a year later, and then I'm just sitting there, and I had this like riff in my head, and I was like, "I'm gonna write a song about that. It's hilarious." And then it's like, other, like, stuff
that's
that
awesome.
incorporates all of it. But you know, we have big plans coming up. We have a lot of songs that we're shooting videos for. We're just trying to put our social media back on. I don't know.
I mean, you guys do the promotion the right way and marketing. I mean, you can see that from the different bands that you're in and the like Splash Panel now, you know, like you're putting it out the right time. I mean, you're like your posters are on point. I mean,
Yeah.
they're spelled correctly and
Oh my God. Yeah, it's crazy. It's nuts. I talked to our friend Melinda last night. She's a graphic designer. And I was like, I hate when people use AI. Like, I'm a musician.
Yeah.
So if you used AI to write a song for whatever, I'm going to judge you. And I feel like that's the same for art.
Dude, yeah. And it's like it's the same in here. It's like when we're doing these interviews and anytime I hear somebody say, "I got some AI questions," I'll ask you. And then they ask the question and it kind of just always falls flat.
Yeah.
Every time. It's to the point where I had to tell a couple of ladies that were in here doing interviews. I was behind the desk and I said, let's just scrap all these AI stuff. I said, like, you guys are friends outside of this studio. You know what question is going to bring out the best story because you know the story. Just go naturally like that. And then the product was perfect after that.
Yeah, I can't stand that stuff. I feel like another thing too is like, if you notice our 2000s nights, like when we do 2000s parties, 2000s party is really big. Splash Panel's name is really small.
Yeah.
Because I know that people want to have a 2000s night. They don't care if the band is Splash Panel. Like, despite popular belief, my ego is not that big.
Right.
Like, I get it.
Yeah. It's just smart marketing.
Yeah. And like, I have this persona off. Like, I'm bigger than life sometimes when I'm talking to people. But that's because if you act like that, they don't try to take advantage of you. Like, down the road.
Mm-hmm.
But doing 2000s night, making that real big, like, you know, if you don't remember my band name, that's fine. But come to the next party because you had a good time.
Right.
And that's where, like, in the Valley, we do Valley shows, we do cover heavy. A lot of, like, the Pittsburgh shows, and when we branch out, we do a lot of more original side.
Yeah. No, that's perfect strategy. It's just all perfect strategy as far as like, you know, the marketing and the promotion of it all. It's just like if you're willing and you're smart enough to like do like those like moves that aren't as good for the ego, but like, you know, like as a product down the road for your shows. I mean, it's just smart, and that's how you gain momentum, and that's how you just grow and grow. Okay.
I think that's what's going on right now.
Okay.
Yeah, you should probably edit that out
I
because
will.
it's not, you know what I mean? It's not our place to say, hey guys, you're
Yeah,
done.
so I'll edit out everything except for when you said you should edit that out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because like being like this, I don't want to say this level in the Ohio Valley, but like for the longest time, like we never did the cover band thing.
Yeah.
We were just like, so we're new to like this aspect of
Mm-hmm.
it. So like Zane Run was like my foot in the door to like learn all this stuff, and I was just like, well, why can't we just go bigger? And then we just never. Zane Run never did. Like they just didn't want to move past that, and I was just like, I'm so done. We played Barnesville Pumpkin Festival, and I'm on the main stage of Barnesville Pumpkin Festival to people sitting in a booth, and I was like, this is torture. I can't do this anymore. Like that kind of stuff. So then fast forward to like today, and I'm like, these are the gigs we want to do. We need people. I don't care if we play a dive bar. Like I'll go back to doing dive bar gigs. That's not the
Right.
thing.
Yeah.
But I need the crowd to be into it.
Yeah.
I need to play to a crowd that's gonna like, you know, play back. Kind of.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, you gotta like with like dive bars around here, like you kind of trade that like sense of danger for the party, because sometimes they will get crazy.
Yeah.
Like we like sometimes you see bands, like sometimes we play down there and it's just stacked up to that little tiny stage, and you're thinking like, I'm not the safest person right now, but it's awesome.
You know, that's one place like I never even think about playing is like like places out like there, like LA Pizza, like stuff like that. Like
Yeah.
I think it's cool to go out there and play to like a different crowd. Because like those guys aren't seeing us in Wheeling. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
So you go out there, you kind of gain a following. But I mean, we've talked about branching out towards like Ohio, like we talked about like Route 40 and doing that kind of stuff. And hopefully we can.
Mm-hmm.
But it's just that it really just depends on the venue.
Yeah. I mean, really too, it's like there's so many dive bars like around this Ohio area, like around like where we grew up, that like there's a whole clientele of music fans that just refuse to go anywhere but that place.
Yeah.
And like it really helps to do like a little tour. Like if you're a musician around here, like hitting up like the Waterfront Hall, obviously like that's like what you want to be like doing, like, and just doing these like River City Generations. But like if you can do a little circuit of these dive bars, like you can get so much of a following. Because like I'll talk to like these people that own these bars, and you know, like, yeah, we're playing down here at the Waterfront Hall like next month. You tell your people, and they'll look at me like, "You think any of these animals are like going across the river to Wheeling?"
Yeah.
It's just the way it is. It's just these. A lot of them are blue collar workers that they want to party after that work week, and you're not going to be able to connect with them unless you go to like these places that might make you a little uncomfortable.
The hard part's the pay.
That's
That's the thing is like you walk into a bar, like if Splash Panel plays, you know, your bar in the middle of Ohio, and we don't have a following there, a cover charge does us
Yeah.
no good.
Mhm.
And if the crowd's not there, then it does me no good to play for free either, because like what, you know what I mean? I'm playing to 6 people and it you know, it sucks.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
So-
not good for anybody.
Yeah, so that's like the tough part about that is like
Yeah.
finding the gigs that'll now I don't mind doing those shows when I'm playing with another band,
Yeah.
because then at least like worst case scenario you have the other band in the crowd, like at least there's, you know what I mean, it's that. But I've done that before. You show up, play to a bar, and there's 2 people that come, and you're just like, awesome, like,
Yeah.
this is gonna be
Yeah,
great.
it's this band playing for this band, and then you guys
Yeah.
flip flop.
It's
Mhm.
just
Oh yeah.
And I had another fucking brain fart. I have to edit it out.
10-string tavern.
10 String
All brain
Tavern,
starts.
yeah,
All
at
brain farts.
our
Brain
IG
starts.
studio.
Dude.
I think a lot of times too with like those bars that like their budget is so low, it's just because I think a lot of times like they're so used to a local guy just undercutting everybody so he can get in there with a 2-piece and play Folsom all
Yep.
night, and everybody's kind of just like hanging out at the bar, just like kind of staring at their beer. And I've had a lot of times where like, you know, bands like ours, like we'll go in, we'll play, and they're like, man, this is the best night we've had in months. It's just because you have the same local guy in here every other week. He's never changed his set for 10 years. And this is just what people expect as normal.
Yeah.
And I think it just takes like, a couple bands that are doing these circuits, hitting it up and be like, okay, like,
I'm not going to say the guy's name, but I went into a bar and I was like, hey, we'll play here. We're $650 for the night.
mm-hmm.
For a venue like this, because I try to pay $100 a guy and there's 4 of us.
Mm-hmm.
And then we try to give our sound guy $250.
Yeah.
So that's like the most,
Mm-hmm.
and the sound guy shows up an hour before we do,
Right.
and leaves an hour and a half, 2 hours after we
Mm-hmm.
do. So sound guys deserve every bit of $250
Yeah.
minimum.
Yeah.
Okay? And the owner goes, why would I pay you guys $650 when so and so will do it for $300?
Mm-hmm.
And my response was, well, you saw the show that so and so brings, right?
Yeah.
Like, you have somebody like that, and he brings 10 people into your establishment.
And bringing maybe $100 of production gear.
Yeah.
Whereas
And then-
that sound guy's bringing in thousands.
Yeah, it's just it's crazy that, and some people do get it. Some people are like, oh hell yeah, and like we have on Splash Panel's page right now, we have a little promo video that was shot from cell phones at Waterfront Hall
Mm-hmm.
at our show. That's audio from the cell phones on that video,
Mm-hmm.
and it sounds really good. But that just shows you like the show we bring, the atmosphere we're trying to create. Because that's another thing too, is we create an atmosphere.
Yeah.
We're not playing songs, we're performing songs. And that's kind of like the biggest thing about us is like you look over and Dave and Brad are doing something on one side of the stage. Or like we do Teenage Dirtbag and Dave and Devontae were playing like rock, paper, scissors in the part that's like it's just me and Brad performing.
Yeah.
So they're good playing rock, paper, scissors, and they're it's just like things like that. Like, and we bring bubble guns, and my like best friend Aaron Posar, he's our butler on stage. So we have all these skits that happen.
Was he the hype guy on the field?
Yeah.
In the arena? Okay.
Yeah.
He came to that Black Sheep show,
Yes.
and you guys were doing Shake Your Body Line, whatever the
Yeah,
Senor.
that's
Yeah.
That's his song. So it's just funny to like.
Yeah.
And I've had people that have come up to me after shows going, I didn't want to pay you guys what you wanted, and if the crowd sucked, I was going to tell you guys I wasn't going to pay you guys. And then they were like, but here's your money. When do you want to book again?
Yeah.
So it's just kind of cool to like you have those experiences.
Yeah.
It's that sell. The first time you play a place is
Yeah. I mean, the first time we played like a place too, we've always been treated good when like, if the bar owner isn't like just used to you don't like, know what kind of crowd you bring, you don't know what the show is. Like toward the end of the night when the show winds down, we've always been treated kindly, like with pass the hat. Like if people wanted to stay that extra hour, it's like, okay, well this is like they understand like the value that we bring, and it made it really worth our time. Like when they pass the hat around, you look and be like, oh wow, this is more than enough to play like a couple more hours. Or
I feel like
however much.
the fairest bar ever was Goodfellas back in the day, because the owner, Matt and Becky, which I love you guys, they would match the door.
oh,
So
okay,
whatever the door
yeah.
brought in. So if
That's
you're,
cool.
if you're, it was a $5 cover and you brought in $200, you got $400. And I always thought I think that's the way to do it, because $5 at the door, that person is spending at least 15 on drinks.
Yeah. Yeah.
So-
I mean, that mindset too is like, I'm not going to spend $5 and not get like my money's worth of drinks there. You say
Yeah,
you
exactly.
pay, you locked in, and yeah. And what's funny is I was talking to a promoter and a marketer in Nashville with Matt, and we were asking him. We said, "What is the best way to get into a new bar? Like, what is the best way? Is it like a perfect press kit? Is it just like a social media presence?" He says, "What you do is find the hottest chick you know, pay her $20 to give her free drinks for a couple hours, send her to a bar that you know where there's a male manager, and just have her go, hey, all my friends would come here. Check out this band. Me and all my friends would come here if you book them." And he says it'll work 90% of the
genius.
time. He's like, especially in Nashville where everybody's like competing with each other. Everybody's sending press kits better than the other guys. He said, you find a model, you find the hottest person you know, go in there, flirt with that male manager and say, you'll see me again if you book them. He said it's just cake after that.
Perfect.
Yeah. Yeah, I know. I know a couple models will start sending them over.
Yeah.
But the thing is like you send the dive bars, they might not make it back. You know, in
Valid.
this area. Oh man. Well, do you have a date for the music video? Any plans?
So the music video we're gonna shoot in July. That's all
Okay.
I know. Like I'm trying to book this. I'm trying to get everything ironed out now. So hopefully by August, I'm back and being like, hey, the video's like live now. Or maybe we'll do the premiere here. Like maybe we'll record it and be like, hey, the video's live right now. And
Yeah,
like,
yeah. Shadow drop it.
yeah, that'd be cool.
That'd be really cool. So, and what's nice too, it's like with your genre, it's not like country music where if you miss this deadline by like the third weekend of July and you don't release a song, then it's kind of over because like that summer party vibe is gone. That you can put it out at any time, and you know it's gonna it'll do well.
That's one thing I always hated about country music. It's like it has to be summertime, it has to be July, and your beer has to come from a cooler. Like there's like that's the three things. And like I used to always make fun of like country fans doing stuff, but like it was funny being in a country cover band and being like, this is literally like not me.
Well, the thing about country music too is like every summer season there's going to be that ultra poppy like the Shabuzi song that comes out that's what everybody's going to listen to until fall. And you know that's just going to be the song of summer, like Florida Georgia Line. They would come out with a song and that's the only thing you would hear at every concert until it was time. Then you wouldn't hear it ever again. That was the song for that summer. It's gone. That's what Sam Hunt put out. It's over, and then something else comes around. But definitely coming out. Look for it in the fall.
Yeah.
Look for the music video in the fall. Is there? So that version you sent me, is there anywhere to check it out for them? No.
It's
Nice.
Nice. I'm giving
that
you
was the exclusive.
The exclusive.
Yes, that was the exclusive.
That's it. This is the only place to listen to until we release the official track, which we've got 2 more songs to release before that one comes out, so we've got some time.
And with a little bit of planning, your fans might be able to see you perform it on a wrestling ring.
Yes.
We want to get to the drawing board with that.
Make that happen, please.
When Eric left, I could tell in his eyes he was going to like get this worked out and get it going. But thank you guys, Dave, Doug. Thank you again, Splash Panel. Check them out everywhere. Definitely, it's the new single that you just heard. Look for that coming up in the fall.